Hi everyone, this is Eun-gyo. Today we are going to learn about thick and thin stones. Last time, I explained what strong and weak stones are. You can think of this lesson as an extension of it. You could think of thick and thin stones to be another term for strong and weak stones. The first example I'm showing is about this cockfight. If black connects here, then black is thick and white is thin. Thin means being weak. A characteristic of thin stones is that it has many weak points. So if white plays a move somewhere else, one weak point would be being cut off like this. Since white is in on Atari, he has to escape, but then white is now in a double Atari. White can only save one of two, right? If we compare the shape to the original form, we can see that white has two weak points, A and B. We can also see that black stones are thick and strong. Let's look at the opposite situation. It's white's turn and white hits and connects his stones. Now, white stones are very thick, while black is very thin. If white cuts off here, black is a double Atari and loses a stone from the board. So let's go back to the original form again. Right now we can say that the white stones are really thick and the black stones are really thin. Now let's see examples to see which stones are thick or thin. There are two formations on the board, here and here. Let's look at white formation on the top. What are your thoughts about the white stones? We can tell that white has few weaknesses and is formed neatly. So we can say that this formation is thick. There is one weak point here, but even black cuts, white can cover this. Do you remember my lesson on this? We learned net. Now with the net, white can capture black stone. Even it tries to escape, it is captured. It is blocked. So in this formation, we can say that there is no weak point. This formation is really thick. Now let's look at the white formation on the bottom. Do you think these white stones are thick or thin? Just looking at it, you can see that there's a lot of weak points. A, B, and C are all white weak points. A weak point means that the stones can be cut off. If the stones are cut off, they lose their strength. And because we cannot play two stones in a row, when they are cut off, either side has a possibility of getting caught. So this shape is very thin. If it were black's turn to play, if black cuts here, there's no answer for white. White has to try to keep them alive like this, but if black play here, now either this one stone or these 3 stones are in danger. So stones that cover the outside in this shape are thin formations. This is the next problem. There are 2 different formations on the board, here and here. Which one seems thick? The white stones on the top side. If white defend with this play, it becomes thick. But if it's black stone, then black can cut off here. So if there is no stone here, then this is a thin formation. If we want to make it thick, there needs to be a stone on this point. If we take a look at the bottom side, unlike the formation on top, this one has no weak point. Even if black cuts off here, white can capture it with a ladder. Because there is no weak point from the outside, comparing 2 formations, the top one is the weak one and the bottom side is strong one. I wanted to show you that stones with weak points are the weak ones. Alright, let's compare these 2. Which one seems weaker, here or here? Yes, the top one has a weak point on A and B that are detrimental to white. We can say that the formation on top is thin, but the 5 white stones on the bottom, it only has 1 weak point on C. But even black cuts here, white can hit black with an Atari. And if it tries to escape, it will get captured by a net. You know what is net? So point C is a place black cannot play even if he wanted to. And because the bottom stone's weak point is less detrimental than the ones on top, between the 2 formations, the top one is a thin one and the bottom is the thick one. You know, everything is relative. It's the same with strong and weak. One is weak because the other is strong. It's the same with thick and thin stones. Alright, now we know what a thick and thin formation of stones look like. Now let's look at ways to punish thin formations by cutting them off. In all 4 corners, each formation has a weak point. Here, 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 and here. Is black's move for all of them, and where should black play his move? In the top left corner, the weak point is here. If something like this plays out, these 2 stones near the center get in danger. And it plays out like this, then white will lose these 3 stones. Instead, it is captured. So, because there is a weak point here, we can tell that the white stones were thin from the start. Let's move to the right upper right corner. We already had taken a look at this problem. Do you remember? Can you remember? You've seen this. There are 2 weak points here, here, and here. If black chooses to play either move, he will gain a huge advantage. So in white's perspective, he has to strengthen this weak point. For example, like this, or like this, or like this. On the lower right side, 3 weak points stand out. Is point A, B, and C. Normally in these formations, the middle here is the weakest point of the 3. As black divides white stones, this side and this side, if white chooses to strengthen one side, then black can attack the other side, and vice versa. I said that this was called a paired move. We learned about it last lesson. As the middle of it cut off, both sides' weak points are highlighted further. Black can choose between the two, so it's going to have a fun time. Let's move to the lower left corner. This is the last problem for today. Yeah! Do you see the weak point here? Is black turn, right? He cuts here and capture this one stone. White is in on Atari, so he has to connect if it's white's turn. If black plays here first, then black can capture this stone, and black has gained a huge advantage just by cutting off white stones. Alright, how was today's lesson? Today we learned about thick and thin stones. We learned if the weak point is exposed, then that formation is thin. And if there is a weak point in your stones, you have to reinforce it. And if your opponent has a weak point, then punish him by cutting it off. On the next video, we are going to learn about attacking when my stones are thick and defending when my stones are thin. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Bye.